voice again, Brad?
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
I step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Yes, and here's to hoping you feel good today, you beautiful people, because it's a new dawn, it's a new day in Zanzi, South Africa. We welcome you to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, baby. Yes.
I feel like she's talking
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Do you know
The sun almost broke over the mountain when you said that, dude.
Wow, what a time to be alive, eh?
Yeah.
Here we are.
All right, so we're going to kick off the show with, of course, catching up with JP Sebastian, who brings us the latest in movies opening this weekend. Can't wait to see how many popcorns he's dishing out, because he's been generous of late, has he not?
Yeah, man. He's
Relax,
feeling
relax,
this morning.
his critiques.
And then, of course, it's Champions League round of 16. We've seen goals galore this week, and we've got what could be finals playing out next week. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of round 16.
Absolutely. We've also got the crash test dummies performing live on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Talk about legendary status. Yes,
Come
we
on.
have acquired it. Definitely.
And then we need to get into a very sassy workout with the one who's brought on the sassiness for
2018 sass.
2018 sass. Zoe Brown's going to bring us an amazing yoga workout.
Is she instructing the
No,
yoga?
she's a part of it, eh?
She's bringing the sass.
She's in there.
I was like,
She's bringing the
talk
sass.
about
She's in there.
DIY. All right, well, let's continue with the sass. Get a taste of the weather today. Zoe, how's it going?
Oh, thank you, T. I can promise you I forecast a lot of sass for today. But looking at your temperatures, we start off in Polokwane, partly cloudy conditions with a low of 19, reaching a high of 28. Mbombela, 20, reaching a high of 33. Pretoria, partly cloudy, 17 is your minimum, 27 your maximum. Johannesburg, 15, 25. Mahikeng, 17, 27. Klerksdorp, 15 with a high of 25, with some thunder showers expected. Then in Kimberley, thunder showers with a low of 17, a high of 27. Bloemfontein, 13, reaching a high of 25. If you're in Richards Bay today, partly cloudy conditions, a low of 21, a high of 35. Pietermaritzburg, 17, 28. Durban, 22, reaching a high of 29. If you're in Tata today, thunder showers are on the forecast with a low of 18, a high of 27. East London, partly cloudy, 17 with a high of 25. Cradock, 15, 29. Port Elizabeth, 16, reaching a high of 24. George today, partly cloudy, 15 is your minimum, 22 your maximum. Sunny conditions in Sutherland, 12 with a high of 26. Cape Town today, sunny, 17 with a high of 25. Worcester, 16, reaching a high of 31. Then sunny conditions in Springbok, a low of 13, a high of 29. And in Uppington, 19 is your minimum with a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. That's where we leave your weather. Another update coming your way in half an hour. But let's take a first look at the roads, and we start off in Gauteng and Fourways. The N1 northbound, there's a stationary vehicle just before William Nicol Drive exit. It's causing delays from Bayer to Nudia Drive, and in the Western Cape and Bellville, traffic's currently slow moving on the N1 inbound. That's between the R300 highway and the Kuburg interchange. That's where I leave your traffic. Half an hour's time, I'll bring you another update.
Pharmadynamics, effective, affordable healthcare.
All right, a quick link up with you on social media right now. We're on our Facebook page. Life of Pi is the thought bubble above Zoe's head as we ask you what movie you think has the best special effects, Avatar, Life of Pi, or Gravity, because we do love our movies on this Throwback Thursday. Gwyneth Janssen here says, good morning, team. I'm not one for special effects movies, but I do say Avatar was amazing. I did personally love that movie. Adelaide says Avatar, that was the one for her. Angelique also says Avatar. Avatar says Tebogo. Also, Qinile says the same thing here. Sumaya is the first one to say Life of Pi was one for her. Tabile Arik, Life of Pi. Noshile, Life of Pi. Avatar. It seems most people really digged Avatar, except Garth, who's the only person coming up for Gravity, saying, come on, it was Oscar nominated as well. Avatar. So let us know. Today is all all about movies. We've got JP Sebastian later on telling us about the latest movies releasing at the box office. And let us know which movie features some of the best special effects you have seen on the silver screen.
So let's continue to throw it back this morning, and there is, I think, we all have soaring spirits this morning, understandably so. So this is a great opportunity. We know that the 14th of February is widely known as obviously the celebration of Valentine's Day, but something else very special happened on the 14th of February back in 1995. In South Africa, it was the official inauguration of the Constitutional Court. So we thought we'd take a look at some of the interesting things about this particular occasion. What a day.
Exactly. Well, the doors of the Constitutional Court were officially opened by Nelson Mandela on the 14th of February 1995. Now, he said in his speech at the inauguration, the last time I appeared in court was to hear whether or not I was going to be sentenced to death.
Wow, man. The now famous landmark of Constitutional Hill was not the original location, in fact, of the Constitutional Court. This only happened 10 years later and was seen as a way of reclaiming an area that was previously associated with incredible violations of human rights.
And also the building process of the new Constitutional Court was well thought out and very symbolic. The bricks from the awaiting trial block were used in a variety of different areas, such as the wall directly behind the judges' chairs and also the very iconic Great African Steps.
How proud do you feel right now?
Man.
And since the 1995 inauguration of the Constitutional Court, many judgments have changed the face of South Africa as we know it, such as the right to housing, same-sex marriage, and of course the right to healthcare and HIV and AIDS treatments.
There we go. Now, have you ever been to visit the iconic location in Johannesburg or any other prolific South African area of history? You can let us know using our hashtag Expresso Show and of course Throwback Thursday.
Well, we're taking a quick break on your Feel Good Breakfast show. When we get back, JP Sebastian with us in the studio. That means one thing and one thing only. He's here to dish out some popcorns, a little bit of, fill us in which movies are releasing at the box office this weekend.
Yeah, we also take a look at an exciting Champions League round of 16. The Champions League has never been as exciting as it is right now, as Graham said earlier on. It's like the finals are being played right now already. We'll get into those results of match day, of the round of 16 match days.
After 7 days, he was quite tired, so God said, let there be a day, can you hear me well enough? Just for picnics with wine and bread. That sounds good. He gathered up some people he had made, created blankets, laid back in the shade. Yeah, we good?
Yeah, that's fine.
welcome back. Thank you for tuning in and joining us on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Time for us to now find out what our local stars have been up to in Mzansiwood.
Exactly. Well, Ntando Duma has finally broken her silence on her split from baby daddy, Junior Doraka. Now, in a recent interview, Ntando says that she saw a future with Junior, but unfortunately things changed and she grew tired of fighting. She did, however, sing his praises, saying that he's a great man who really loves their daughters, Bahle, and while the young love might not have worked out, we're glad that the two of them actually have their focus on this cutie, because that is what it's all about. How cute is she, hey?
Look at Baba.
Oh my goodness, cheeks for days.
Yes,
love that.
beautiful.
Well, another day and another South African celebrity living it up abroad. This time it's none other than Lerato Kganyago, who on Instagram shared snaps of her flight to Los Angeles before sharing snaps of her just chilling, as one does in Los Angeles, with her in LA, Aisha Baker, Parnell in Dubai, and Jeannie D in New York. We'd say that South Africa is well represented globally right now. And of course, SABC3 announcement is that finally, as part of our very new schedule, SABC3 has added a very exciting new show, Frankly Speaking, that's kicked off on the channel and will air at 8:30 p.m. on Sundays. And in light of this new edition, Special Assignment has moved to 9:30 p.m. on Sundays as well. SABC3, the stage is yours.
Well, with the Rand strongest in 3 years, I think now's the time to travel. Now's the time
Get
to
out
travel.
there.
Yes, well, that was our local entertainment news for you. More will be coming your way with regards to the international front, and that comes up your way a little later.
Well, exciting news for all movie fans as we, of course, get to another point of the week where we welcome the new releases at the box office. But before we chat to our expert movie critique, JP Sebastian, let's quickly take a look at the box office top 5.
Wallets and IDs, please. It's mandatory 50 Shades Week. Here's SA's box office top 5. Den of Thieves brings the bravado, snatches week 2 in the charts, but falls 2 spots to 5th. In 4, Tad the Lost Explorer and The Secret of King Midas might luckily be a title too long for the kids to remember. Surely we call it Millie Runner in SA, and it's more of a brisk walk anyway. Maze Runner The Death Cure is 3rd. Maybe Jumanji's not the winner for your Jungle Fever this Valentine's, falling 2nd after 7 weeks. So if you're into whips, chains, and abusing your eyeballs, 50 Shades Freed finishes 1st.
I'll be honest, I didn't see that one coming. 50 Shades Freed? Yeah? What? Number one?
Seriously?
I thought people were tired of this already.
Warm-blooded humans out there?
Come on. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Well, there's a whole batch of other movies to take a look at. The first of which is right on our screen right now. All the Money in the World.
Yes, sir.
Michelle Williams starring in that one.
And, of course, Mark Wahlberg. And a new name to the cast here.
Christopher Plummer.
People will remember that this was originally starring Kevin Spacey. Then nonsense hit the fan. Ridley Scott, I think, made a great decision, which everyone in Hollywood should if they find out that someone's got this history behind them. And he said, no, that's it. Switch in a new actor. So Christopher Plummer took over the role of Jean-Paul Getty in the story.
Yeah, and I particularly love movies that are inspired by true events. Tell me about this one.
And this one is like, so there are a lot of movies with like deep intrigue in them. This is the true story of Jean-Paul Getty, who was one of the richest men of all time at one point in history. Had his grandson kidnapped by Italian mafia, and they asked for $17 million. So what does the richest man in the world say? No.
No.
So the kid's mother, who is obviously his daughter-in-law, tries to fight with Getty to try and just do the right thing. Just pay what is actually the amount was about 0.085% of his net worth.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, nee, I've got 14 other grandchildren. They'll try their luck with those as well. And Mark Wahlberg plays this go-between CIA agent. So it's actually not just like negotiations and whatnot. There's a bit of like adrenaline to the story as well.
Yeah, sounds like an intriguing one. The next one, vra is daar baie antwoorde nee. Reiselkind. Antwoorde min, lees ek nou verkeerd also. Okay, what's that all about?
Agreed entirely. The guy who's bad at Afrikaans, that's me. Reiselkind apparently means riddle child,
yes.
If I have that correct at least. Yes, 5 points. The story is about a mother who loves dearly her child who is on the spectrum of autism. Okay. Which, you know, a lot of people these days, just suddenly we're learning that this is such a difficult thing for a lot of people to live with and care for.
recently coming to the fore, you know, in people's minds.
Yes.
This husband and wife, these parents are obviously like, it's such a challenge for them to care for and love this child. The child dies under mysterious circumstances. The police then suspect the mother of foul play, and obviously she's just blown away by the accusation. Not only is there obviously like this tangle of this mix of emotions of you possibly feel guilty about this weight being lifted off your shoulders, but at the same time, you know, being suspected of murdering the child you love.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yet another proudly South African production. And then finally, I, Tonya, which gave me the heebie-jeebies yesterday when I was watching.
Yeah, I heard in the...
What is this?
A very expressive what from the other room. Katlego was not having it. So Margot Robbie, as you can see, does a solid job in this movie, and is totally worth being nominated for Best Lead Actress. It is the true story of Tonya Harding. That's one of these names that were floating around when we were probably like 10 years old back in the day, and we heard it. Oh my goodness, she was implicated in like having Nancy Kerrigan's knee bashed. Her competitor in figure skating for the position to represent the United States at the Olympics. So it's the story of her, how she's driven by her mother, who is a ruthless human being, who she still doesn't speak to this day, and her husband, who was abusive both physically and mentally and manipulative as well, to become what, you know, the press made out to be a monster. Margot Robbie makes her very human, actually, which we don't know is very close to the truth, but the story is very much about what is the truth. You know, when 5 people are telling like 5 different stories. It's actually quite intriguing to watch.
Well, there you have it. Lots to look forward to, including our main feature film of the day. You can see it. It's all over posters everywhere in the world. Everyone's looking forward to Black Panther. And JP will be talking to us about that a little bit later on. I wonder how many popcorns he'll give it, but we won't talk about that right now.
Oh, man, I have a feeling he's going to break the bank with that one. But, of course, we've been treated to some scintillating Champions League football. It's finally here. The round of 16 kicked off. We've had goals galore with the matches played thus far, and we've still got 12 more fixtures to go, and many of them looking like they could be finals. Some big results, some players marking their name down in history to chat about Champions League so far. We've got Fabio De Dominicis in studio. Did I get it right, dude? You did. Well, I practiced that quite a lot. Welcome, man. Thank you so much for joining us, letting us plug into your journalistic brain. So much to assess. It's always a bit of a kind of a bottleneck when Champions League finally arrives, because there are so many stars at the moment, so many unbelievable coaches in play at the moment. It feels like a golden era of football at the moment. What do you make of our fixtures thus far? We've seen goals galore, some big wins, Madrid, a big draw for Spurs, I'll take it. How do you feel about the game so far?
Where do we start? I mean, it's been a 2-month wait, but definitely worth it. 17 goals over the last 2 days, over 4 games. It's been crazy. And like we said, like literally almost final matchups, and it's only the round of 16. Last night's games, Madrid, PSG. PSG were on the up. They've been scoring left, right and centre, but obviously that depth, that difference in class, Madrid always stepping it up. They're the defending champions. Ronaldo is under a lot of pressure, but steps it up. He scores his 100th goal, 101 goals now in the Champions League, opening that gap over Messi to 21. That's always a lift for him. Last night, 5-0 Liverpool, beating Porto away from home. 5 away goals. They also on song, so it's just...
I hate to, looking in the context of the English Premier League, I hate to see Liverpool kind of hitting their straps at the moment, but something seems to be clicking there. We talk about click. In the English Premier League, in European football at the moment, Manchester City, 4-0 over Basel. We know that Basel, maybe not the strongest opposition, but at this stage of the competition, no one is weak.
No, of course.
Sergio Aguero is, I think, at any other phase in world football, he'd be the best striker in the world, but there are just so many Harry Kane, so many amazing Harry Kane players at the moment.
So what is that?
I have to ask, are City the best team in Europe? So many English football fans want to believe it. How will they stand up to a Barcelona, to a Real Madrid?
That's where I think there is a bit of difference in class and also experience. So Man City have only ever been to the semi-finals. That's their best finish 2 seasons ago. But obviously under Guardiola, he's got all the experience. That squad has a lot of depth. They're running away with the Premier League. Obviously, they should be through to the next round after their first leg result against Basel, 4 goals away from home. But when it comes to matching up against your Barças, your Real Madrids, Bayern Munich even in the next round possibly, I think they might just fall short, but again, Guardiola is working his magic,
man.
You never know.
Come at the hour, man. Then looking at some of next week's fixtures, just very quickly, what's your standout? I mean, we've got some possible final matchups there. We've got Man United in play, Bayern in play, Barca in play.
Yeah, I think Chelsea-Barca is the big one. Barca's only lost 1 in their last 37 games in all competitions. And Chelsea are, on that up and down form. Conte's under a lot of pressure, so that's a big game. Bayern, I think, should cruise past Besiktas. I think there's a bit of golf in class there. But Sevilla United is also a very interesting one, because United also haven't been on the best runs of late. Mourinho's trying to get the best out of his players. Sometimes they're looking a bit shaky, so that's also an interesting matchup.
He's trying to be well-behaved this season, and I think that's working against him, man. Dude, thank you so much. Awesome to connect. I have a feeling you're going to be back quite a lot over the next few weeks. You can let us know which teams are you supporting in the UEFA Champions League round of 16.
Oh, well, you guys are in for a real treat as we have Canadian rock band Crash Taste Dummies in studio. They're performing for us after the break. We're going to lift the roof a little.
Zoe gets us into a very sassy yoga workout. All that more coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Don't move a muscle.
Let there be a day just for picnics with wine and bread. He gathered up some people he had made, created blankets, laid back in the shade.
Maybe a little.
Could we have a little bit more guitar in the monitor?
222. And this is really.
You know, his mic is louder than mine, like 10 times louder, and he doesn't sing.
Yeah, you can even take this away if you want.
Yeah. Check 1, 2. Oh, there we are. Here I am. Oh, that's beautiful.
Finally, someone has coffee.
So we're going to do a song this time. Not just wave, we'll do a song.
No waving. It says performance. No waving. You can't wave during the song.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
The sand and water resistant Galaxy S8. Made for summer.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Hope you are feeling it this morning. It's a brand new day. Let's put a smile on that. I'll take a look at some of the interesting, funny, rather random things that have been happening across the globe that have caught our attention on social media. Ladies, what you got?
Talk about feeling it. I think a lot of people still have the Valentine's Day feels, you know, and we wanted to continue, so why don't we? Here's a really, really cute picture of the cuddles between a sweet little pair, a dog and a little boy, and they are just loving each other. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, get in there.
Softly,
Labradors are so good with children. I love that.
My goodness.
May your heart be warm.
Really
I'm going to add some random and fun to our morning. You know, I love doing DIY, and the beauty of DIY is sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes you learn from your mistakes, or you know, it looks a little wobbly because you made it yourself. Board Panda compiled a few things like DIY. Why?
DIY.
Why would you want to make a little terrarium in your car?
A dashboard terrarium. What I'm asking is, where's Nomi? Where's the little gnome from your terrarium?
Is there any more pictures?
That might have been a drop mic scenario.
Oh, there we go. That's for a sunroof.
Shame, you guys.
It's funny because it's real.
Is that like your own steering wheel?
That's a Taste Naverate steering wheel. That's
very interesting.
Oh, wow.
Very creative.
That's one way to use an old bra.
Hey.
Or maybe a bra you still wear.
Okay. But there is something about the tiger print. Okay, that's just get out.
Creepy.
No, that is
get out.
That's something a student would do.
Yeah,
Which
man.
student?
A varsity student.
I'll find you.
Village of the... Yeah.
Oh, man. I like the way they've got the scissors next to the doll there as well. That was freaky. We might need to show the puppy and the baby again just to bring back the feels. Beautiful stuff, guys. Thank you so much. You can let us know on our timeline what's caught your attention on your timeline this morning. Share your thoughts with us. Hit us up online on Facebook, Twitter. As always, use the hashtag Expresso Show. Now, time for some rock royalty.
Absolutely, so we are so proud this morning to welcome Brad Roberts, the lead singer of the legendary Canadian rock group Crash Test Dummies. They're currently on a tour in South Africa, and we have the privilege of having them in studio this morning to share their beautiful music. Right now, a song called God Shuffled His Feet.
After 7 days, he was quite tired, so God said, let there be a day just for picnics with wine, bread. He gathered up some people he had made, created blankets and laid back in the shade. The people sipped their wine, and what with God there, they asked him questions like, do you have to eat or get your hair cut in heaven? And if your eye got poked out in this life, would it be waiting up in heaven with your wife? God shuffled his feet, glanced around at them. People cleared their throats, stared right back at him. So he said, once there was a boy who woke up with blue hair. To him it was a joy until he ran out to warm air. He thought of how his friends would come to see. Would they laugh or hate? He got some strange disease. God shuffled his feet, glanced around at them. The people cleared their throats and stared right back at him. Waiting out on their blankets. The said nothing, so someone asked him, beg your pardon. Not quite clear about what you just spoke. Is that a parable or a very subtle joke? God shuffled his feet, glanced around at them. The people cleared their throats, stared right back at him.
Crash Test Dummies are in South Africa. You can catch them performing at Hillcrest Quarry this coming Saturday at 4 p.m. and then this Sunday at the Pretoria National Botanical Garden. It's going to be absolutely amazing. All fans of their music will be delighted, and we look forward to chatting to you a bit later on to find out about your experience in South Africa. In the meantime, let us know on our Facebook page and our Twitter page, all our social media platforms, what you thought about that performance of God Shuffled His Feet.
In the national news, President Jacob Zuma has resigned as the President of the Republic of South Africa. He says that his decision follows his recalling by the African National Congress's National Executive Committee and weeks of speculation about his future as president. Zuma says he takes seriously and is grateful to the ANC that in the face of its revolutionary mission, it ensured a better life for all and curated a non-sexist and non-racial South Africa. The South African Medical Research Council has collaborated with the Beijing Genomics Institute to establish the continent's first genomic sequencing facility. Construction at the African Genomics Center is underway in Cape Town and is expected to be completed in June. The 95 million rand project will offer opportunities to explore the African genome, which Rizwana Mia, the head of the South African Medical Research Council's Precision Medical Program, says holds a large amount of diversity. Now moving further abroad, Kuwait's Emir has announced that his nation will lend $1 billion to Iraq and commit a further $1 billion of investment to the country. Donors and investors have gathered in Kuwait this week to discuss efforts to rebuild Iraq's economy and infrastructure as it emerges from a devastating conflict, which Islamic State militants who seized almost half, or rather a third, of the country. According to officials, rebuilding Iraq after 3 years of war with Islamic State will cost more than $88 billion. And then finally, according to the Broward County Sheriff's Office, at least 17 people were killed yesterday in a shootout at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Law enforcement responded to reports of gunshots shortly before 3 p.m., which investigators believe was to draw people out of classrooms and increase the number of casualties. The suspect, a 19-year-old former student, Nicholas Cruz, is now in custody for further investigation. Schools have been closed for the rest of the week. Well, that was your 7 o'clock news update. Here's a look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
Let's start with cricket this morning. Proteas fast bowler Kagiso Rabada has been found guilty of breaching the ICC Players Conduct Code. That was in the 5th ODI against India on Tuesday. Rabada was fined 15% of his match fee and received his 4th demerit mark for his aggressive gesture and verbal reaction to the dismissal of Indian batsman Shikhar Dhawan. Rabada and the Proteas will be back in action on Friday as they take on India in the 6th and final ODI with, of course, India having wrapped up the series. Then on to football. A host of goals as Real Madrid got the better of Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League last night. They secured a first leg 3-1 win at the Santiago Bernabeu. Madrid will head to Paris, I think definitely the more confident of the two sides, as they came back from a goal down to seal that win, thanks to goals from Ronaldo and Marcelo. In the only other round of 16 clash from last night, Liverpool breezed past Porto by 5-0. And staying with football, but keeping it local into some cup competition now, as Baroka FC knocked Platinum Stars out of the Nedbank Cup last night after a 1-0 win in Rustenburg. The only goal of the game came from Gift Matupa in his penalty in the 70th minute, which was enough to earn his side a spot in the last 16. In some other results from last night, Stellenbosch show their depth again. They beat Highlands Park 1-0, while Free State Stars earned a 2-1 win over the Super Eagles. Then on to tennis. Roger Federer, the Fed Express, secured his first win back on court, of course, after his Australian Open triumph with a straight sets victory over Ruben Bennemans at the Rotterdam Open yesterday. His 6-1, 6-2 win saw him kickstart his chase for the #1 world ranking. The 36-year-old is now only 2 wins away from reclaiming top spot for the first time in 6 years. That's incredible. Some other results from yesterday in Rotterdam saw wins for David Goffin, Grigor Dimitrov and Thomas Berdych. And that's where we leave our sport for now.
Well, let's take another look at the roads, and we start off in Gauteng in Eldorado Park. There's been an accident on the N12 eastbound. That's before the Golden Highway, and it's causing heavy delays approaching the scenes. And then the Western Cape and Plumstead on the M5 northbound, it is slow moving. That's from Plumstead heading towards the N2 interchange. That's where we leave your roads. Another update coming your way shortly, but let's quickly look at the temperatures for today. We start off with Polokwane on a low of 19, a high of 28. Partly cloudy conditions in Mbombela, 20 with a high of 33. If you're in Pretoria today, 17 is your minimum, 27 your maximum. Johannesburg, 15, 25. Thunder showers in Mahikeng, a low of 17, a high of 27. Klerksdorp, 15, 25. Kimberley starting off on 17, reaching a high of 27. Thunder showers can be expected in Bloemfontein, a low of 13, a high of 25. Richards Bay, 21, 35. Pietermaritzburg, 17, 28. Durban, 22 with a high of 29. Mthatha, 18, reaching a high of 27. Partly cloudy conditions in East London, 17 with a high of 25. Partly cloudy conditions and a little bit of rain expected in Craddock, a low of 15 with a high of 29. Port Elizabeth, 16, 24. George, 15, 22. Sunny conditions in Sutherland, a low of 12, a high of 26. Cape Town today, sunny with a low of 17, a high of 25. Worcester, 16, 31. Springbok, 13, a high of 29. And partly cloudy conditions in Uppington, a low of 19 with a high of 34 degrees Celsius. And that's where we leave your weather. Another update coming your way just after 8.
Well, I'm going through Twitter this morning, and everybody is jumping onto the hashtag Black Panther Challenge SA and nominating their friends to get involved. Simi RF says, I'm excited for the Black Panther movie, mainly because it's on IMAX and there's no other way that I want to watch it. Black Panther ready, says Candice Morisela. The power is infectious. Loving that look there. Someone also say, been waiting for the release of Black Panther. Now it's around the corner, and this is how I'm getting ready. I absolutely love this. You know what? I think we should get involved, and I nominate each and every one of my fellow presenters to get involved and show off their best Black Panther looks. Boom.
I'm trying to find a costume.
Come on, man.
We are so ready. We are so ready. I can't wait to watch the movie.
Oh, dude, no, with that stellar performance, now that we've ruined our kitchen, you've earned a coffee, dude.
I could use a cup of coffee, man. Listen, we still got lots coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast show. After the break, young Sassy yoga session with Zoe, who after yesterday's suspended yoga is feeling rather confident.
And sassy, we would add to that. Then, what a time to be alive. We're going to inspire you with a really cool story about young South African minds being inspired. You want to stick around. Cool stuff. Ooh, yum.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Can you feel your mind expanding? If it hasn't happened yet, it's about to.
We're about to cross
Yeah, I know, man. Crossing the threshold. It's time for, as you can see, our Tech Daily Update. We've got some cool stories this morning.
We do. The first of which kind of comes from last year because we reported on a robotics company called Boston Dynamics who were developing disturbingly functional pet-like robots, if you remember that story. Now, they've released a new update of the software that allows this AI to now not only open doors, but also hold it open for friends.
It looks like it's doing yoga, actually.
Mate, this is so... This looks like the dog from Black Mirror. I am a little bit...
See, I can handle... it looks like a head, but it's actually an arm. This is where it starts to freak you out. Get out.
No! Okay, so it opens it and
then it goes inside and kills everyone. No, sorry, that's not what it does. That was quite dark. I didn't mean to get dark. No, its mate goes inside without a head and just reaps it.
Dude, there's this episode of Black Mirror called Metalhead, right? And it's got dogs like these. The design is uncannily and eerily similar to these. And these dogs are basically programmed to protect whatever area they're protecting if there's a violation or trespassing. And they don't die. These dogs don't. It's just, I don't know. I like it, but I'm scared of it.
Where's its weak point?
You can't like go guys, you pick up a rock and like, hey, come on, you can't do that with a dog like
a spray bottle, one of those. Okay, so let's restore our faith in the fact that humans still reign supreme over robots. Of course, the Winter Olympics stealing all of their headlines, but there is a lesser-known sister event, which is the Robot Winter Olympics. And as you can see, not all of the robots are getting it quite right. There's some strict criteria. Shame, shame, and he lost his ski there. So the criteria, over 50 centimeters tall, okay, independent power systems, able to stand, or at least try to stand on two legs, bendable knees and elbows, plus they all have to have ski poles. None of them are using their ski poles, but I like the way they hold them in quite an athletic fashion.
Look at that, he got the reverse! This is just, oh my word.
But can I just say something to all robotics designers out there? Please, can you guys put some heads on your robots? Just a face or something,
The headless thing is quite
It's
quite
freaking
freaky.
me out, man.
Yeah. All right, well, there we go. The latest stories from the world of technology. Let us know which stories have captured your imagination today and share them with us on our social media platforms using #ExpressoShow.
Okay, well, listen, it is Thursday. We've been promising you a sassy yoga session, and we have Nokupiwo here to show us ahead of Fit Night Out. It's one of the biggest nights and fun nights out that you can do with your friends and family and really just enjoy fitness together. Nokupiwo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, my dear.
So what is sassy yoga all about?
I think it's more about practicing in a classy and elegant way.
Okay.
You know, especially in this month of love. We're inviting people to be more in love with their bodies.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you're going to take us through something.
Okay, so just make sure that you're comfortable and your legs are parallel.
Okay.
Just a little bit hip distance apart. Take a breath in and breathe out. Another deep breath in and breathe out. So we're going to roll down in the count of 8 because before we teach, it's important that we warm up our spine. So we're going to roll down vertebra by vertebra in a count of 8, but I'm going to take you through.
Okay.
Okay, so number 1 is chin to chest.
Okay.
So, okay, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Can we sit on the floor? I know it's uncomfortable, but it's beautiful. It's Mother Earth. Okay, just sit with your legs crossed and your back up straight. Imagine there's someone pulling up your hair, like the top of your hair. Yes.
Like a puppet.
Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Another deep breath in And breathe out. We're gonna rotate the upper body more like this. So again, in your own pace and in your own direction. Just make sure that you are comfortable and relaxed. And change the direction. Don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to breathe. And relax. See if you can get into all fours. Put your both hands on the floor. You go all the way up like this into cat and cow. So this is very beautiful. Again, when we're doing it with kids, we go like meow. 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 Can I hear the meows and meow?
Oopsie. Let me get that for you. Well, Nokupiwe here ahead of Fit Night Out, and this is as we talk. There you go, your mic pack. A lot of action happening. This was a sweet, short introduction into what Sassy Yoga is all about. It will be taking place at Fit Night Out, but can you tell us where people can find out more details about Fit Night Out for those who want to join in Cape Town?
Okay, it's going to be in Tiger Valley on the rooftop. The gates will be open at 1.
Okay.
Then the class, I think, is going to start just after 3 o'clock and then all the way.
And this is on which day of the week?
On Saturday. This Saturday.
This Saturday.
On the 17th.
Oh, exciting things. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Nokupiwe, for the brief introduction. I think the cow and the cat move is going to stick in my mind. Thank you for that. The next time I go to a yoga class, I might be the only one meowing and mooing. But thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
She is the cat lady. She is the cat lady.
It actually feels good. Just like wherever you are at home right now, find a table and just go meow. It feels strangely very good. But anyway, if you're looking for a great way to start your Thursday, I love doing smoothies these days. It's a quick and easy way. It's like bum 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 bum, and there you go. Health
sorted.
Health sorted. So we're gonna make you a green smoothie, Zoe.
Well, I was about to say I'm seeing a lot of greens and some yellow.
Lots of antioxidants, lots of healthy stuff going in there. So start it off. For us, the process.
Okay, cool. So apples, one of my favorite, and I've recently gotten used to the idea of having green apples. They're great, low GI, so controlling your glucose levels in your body very, very well.
Especially the Granny Smith apples.
I really like the flavour of them as well. So then we're going to throw in some mango over here, very antioxidant rich, and they've actually got enzyme in there that are linked to cancer fighting, which is great.
There you go.
So we love that, and also the flavour. That's going to bring a beautiful, beautiful flavour there.
If you're looking for lots of fibre and minerals, baby spinach is beautiful. And the thing is, you can pack in so much of it.
You start
like,
with the bag
like that.
It's like, you know, wedding confetti.
Oh, no, don't worry, we're good, we're sorted.
It's like wedding confetti when you hold on to the rose petals too long and then you end up pelting the poor bride with like a lump of
And the cool thing is that it's packed with protein as well. A lot of people don't even know that.
And iron as well. And then we've got our avocado, very high in very healthy mono unsaturated fats.
There we go.
Okay, just to get that all out. And also it adds a bit of kind of backbone to your
Well, I think they'll be very impressed to see I'm doing a green smoothie for breakfast. I went for a health check the other day and they told me my unhealthy cholesterol is elevated.
High.
Oh, really?
Oh,
so I have to get more. The good cholesterol's good.
Some water over there.
A beaker of water.
Cream as well. Yeah, there we go. SMS the keyword breakfast to 33728 and we'll send you the link to the recipe and ingredients list. Don't waste that ever. You want to squeeze it in there.
Just about to ask about lemon.
Flavor
just a little bit of zing.
Do you do the 5-second rule?
There's a pip.
Oh, it's gonna be. It's part of the fiber, Zoe.
Come on, it's the healthiest part.
You know what I mean?
It's the healthiest part.
And you just pop it over there. Sometimes do this thing. And because a lot of the fruit they have their own moisture inside, you don't even need much in terms of liquid. And that should be about Danzo's.
The keyword there is breakfast to 33728. We'll send you that uber healthy ingredients list.
And then you just tell her the health.
It is green.
It is super green. It's like a Hulk smoothie.
This is your breakfast.
Dun.
Eat porridge.
Eat gloopy.
That's seriously green.
That is, but I think it's going to be just amazingly tasty.
We're gonna halve your cholesterol.
No, I was going to. That's mine.
Oh, look at that. But you gotta. Then you gotta do the cat meow instead of a kiss.
Meow. Meow.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Could we have some more water, please? Just to give it a bit of more sugar.
Possibly some spoons.
You know?
Oh, such a crazy team. Now, we all know that the great impact that being inspired and encouraged and taught as a teenager and a young adult can have on you and on the path to your success in the future. Now, this is why the managing director of Pride Factor, Dean Botha, also a television and radio personality that you all know, invests his time in doing just that with his Inspired Youth initiative. And he joins us today to share how this is growing from strength to strength. Dean, so good to have you on the show.
So good to be back.
Listen, tell us, how is Inspired Youth, how has it grown so far? Because it really has impacted young people's lives in such an incredible way.
Yeah, it really has grown over the last 4 years. We celebrate 4 years this month, which is fantastic.
Congratulations.
And it really has grown immensely. We've got the TV side of things, we've got the radio side of things, we've got print, we've got online, and obviously our live events are taking off all over the country. And it's just a very exciting time, I think, for South Africa, and especially for the youth of South Africa.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you've partnered with amazing career expos and with Edu Week, but how has Pride Factor contributed to the events that you're doing?
We've got some very exciting events coming up, I must be honest. One of them is, as you say, the High School Career Expo.
Yes.
We're going to be all over the country. There's one in Krugersdorp at the end of this month. Then from there we go to Cape Town, Durban, Johannesburg, Pretoria, PE, all over the place. It's usually the last weekend of every month. And it is an exhibition, talks, and all kinds of things, and obviously SABC Education's involved, and we always love having them involved.
That's amazing. I remember when I used to work with schools as well, there's nothing better than a young person getting information and, of course, access to the kind of things that they can do in the future, because that is so important. But there's an event happening in March.
Yes.
Yes? Can you tell us more about that?
It's not so much the event. I mean, firstly, there's one coming up in June.
Yes.
It's called Edu Week.
Okay.
And Edu Week is extremely exciting. It's a 2-day event at Ticketbro Dome on the 15th and 16th of June, which, of course, is Youth Day. Awards evenings, Africa trade exchanges, launch pads, speaks, talks, all kinds of things going on, which is really, really, really exciting. But in March, we are very proud to announce that we're going to be launching our online academy.
Oh, wow.
We have made it as accessible as possible to everyone around the country, if not the world. And it's life skills training, it's business acumen training, it's entrepreneurship training, and it's just things that we, if I may say, never really learned at school.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
Absolutely. Dean, it's so wonderful to see your passion and just your drive. Why is it so important for you to give South African young people this opportunity and platform?
I think we need it at this moment in time, at the moment. I think there's a lot of opportunity that the youngsters of today don't really know about or don't quite recognize. And I think it's just an exciting time. And why do I do it personally? Yeah. I sleep very well at night because I know that we do what we do, and it is very collaborative. Yeah. But all the guys from all the events that we join with, it's fun.
Yeah, well,
we love
what
we do.
Thank you so much, Dean Botha, for loving what you do and making a difference. All of the information is currently on your screen, and if you're a youth who needs that extra push for motivation or spark of inspiration, why don't you check out more of what Dean is doing with his initiatives by visiting pridefactor.co.za and get yourself involved.
Yeah, man, big shout out to the likes of Dean Botha and Pride Factor and everyone else out there who's inspiring a new South Africa. What a time to be alive.
What a time.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we bring you the latest, hottest off the runway of New York Fashion Week.
And then, of course, hair today, gone tomorrow. The latest hair trends as well. What is setting the trends? We'll see you in a sec.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. From sassy yoga to some fashion, and with the menswear fashion season complete, we now turn our attention to the ladies with our reviews of fashion weeks from across the globe. And kicking it off for us is the Autumn-Winter 18 season. It's New York City, and we've got your pass to the most renowned designers in the world. And it's time for us to talk a little trend talk straight from the catwalk and into your closet. So we have our Expresso fashion editor, Nick Strelitz, here to tell us all of the latest. Nick.
Hey, Zoe.
Hey, let's talk trends.
Let's do it. Yes. So let's be talking women's trends now. Even though I am a man and I enjoy men's clothing, I love women's fashion. It's just, there are no rules.
There's
really.
no rules.
It's
I love
limitless.
that. So what did we see at New York Fashion Week that stood out in terms of 2018 autumn-winter trends?
So there's a lot to look forward to, Zoe. So I highlighted 5 trends that we're going to be seeing. I'm going to give you a bit of a do and don't.
Okay.
So it's all about updated athleisure, number 1. We talked about this in men's at New York last week. Same applies to women. So don't do like Cara Delevingne. So here we have a couple snaps of some runway.
Cara can pull that off.
Can she? Is she pulling it off? Okay, but the thing with athleisure is people think sweatpants and you're good to go, roll out. I mean, she looks like she kind of rolled out of bed and just kept rolling down the street. But you don't want to do that. Do more like Kendall Jenner. Opt for all black. You can still do a mini dress in athleisure. You can still do that.
I love that. Dresses with a little sneaker, even cute brogues.
And athleisure is all about luxe. Exactly, brogues. So like think about how we can elevate it. Number 2, we're talking tonal. Tonal is nothing new, so we've seen this time and time again, and still we're seeing pinks and reds coming through, which is why I got my pinks and reds here.
Okay.
The thing with tonal is you don't want to do like Gigi. I'm sorry, Gigi. Is she watching Expresso this morning?
No.
Gigi, I'm sorry, Gigi. You don't want to wear the same hue top to toe because you basically just look like one amorphous blob of that shade.
Okay.
You want to do more like this lady. She's not a celebrity. I'm sorry, everyone, but I liked her picture. You want to do different hues of the same color.
Okay.
And play with texture so each item is delineated. You want to see structure in the outfit.
And does this apply then also with the same like solid colors? Stick away from patterns? Is it more like block coloring?
Exactly. Block coloring with tonal I would keep to block colors, absolutely. Okay, next we're seeing clashing prints. Now this is a trend I predicted at the start of the year, which we're actually seeing in New York, which is amazing to see. Thing is, we don't want to do like Vanessa Hudgens is doing and just go to the closet and be like, print, 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 print. There is some method behind the madness. You want to do more like Olivia Palermo does. Stick with the same material. So if you're going to do a silk top, do a silk a bottom, a dress, and play with the same colorway. If she's picked ultraviolet, you can see it in shades on the top and the bottom.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, so there's method to it, so you kind of need to be careful as well.
You need to be careful. It's still like, you need to think about these things before we like throw, especially with prints, on print.
Yes.
It's difficult to do it. Next is neon. I'm gonna say it. Neon might be big for 2018, which is notoriously difficult to get right. Don't do like Katy Perry and do tonal neon. I think we can all safely say we're not going to do that for 2018.
But I love this. Look at the beige look, the first picture with the bright orange shirt. It's something simplistic, but you add to the trend.
Absolutely, and neon is anything but simple. So if we're pairing it with simple on the top and bottom, the neon will ultimately give it a bit of burst. So do like, Celine Dion, if you can go back to that. She did really well. Okay, next we're doing denim on denim.
That's always been a trend.
It's always been a trend, but I'm going to say something controversial, Zoe. I actually didn't like how I saw it at New York Fashion Week. I'm not a fan of the same color denim on denim. I think it's very rigid, it's very directional, it's a bit overpowering. Don't want to do like Kim K here, which she did the same thing, denim on denim. You lose the waist. Again, it's one denim sort of head to toe. You have no shape, color, direction. We want to break that up, different color denims and different textures.
Oh, well, Nick Strelitz, thank you so much for joining us and giving us that little bit of an update. I mean, an autumn-winter preview from Nick and New York Fashion Week. What more do you want? And make sure you tune into Expresso next week, Wednesday, where we will head to London for stop 2 on our international women's wear trend tour.
It's by far the hottest event on the fashion calendar. We're talking about New York Fashion Week, and it's where Tresemme decided to kickstart their 70th anniversary celebrations by returning to the runways as official haircare sponsor for a 20th consecutive season. And that's why this morning we're so happy to have in studio with us Nicole Curry, who is the brand manager. Nicole, so good to have you in studio this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Exciting, exciting times ahead. Now, at Tresemme, your point of view is that hair matters, and that professional touch should be in the hands of everyday women every single day. Why exactly do you believe in that?
So we at Tresemme understand how important hair is to women. At the end of the day, we know that hair is moody. Sometimes
I love that.
It looks moody. Absolutely awesome, and it is doing what you want it to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can take you a good 30 minutes to an hour to get ready in the morning. And we understand that it's the first thing that you see when you see a person. It is the ultimate accessory to finish off that perfect look. And all we aim to do at Tresemme is just give women the tools to create the perfect look at home, so they can walk 2 inches taller every single day when they walk out the house and have that confidence to actually conquer the world.
I'm so happy that Tresemme understands that, because sometimes my hair is moodier than most days. It's more moody than not moody. But let's take a look back at 2006, 20 years ago, when Tresemme decided to partner with New York Fashion Week. Why was it so important to partner with a brand like this?
So what is so important about partnering with New York Fashion Week is the fact that it is the world stage for fashion and beauty trends. We know all women are looking at it. They want to know what's coming out of there. And in 2006, we needed a more profound way to be able to actually put our products to the ultimate test. And what better way than putting salon quality products in the hands of the top professionals backstage at New York Fashion Week. And this is really the ultimate pressure test. But the thing is, Jan, we're not only a sponsor. We are working hand in hand with some of the top designers in the world to come out with the best hair trends every single season. Because at the end of the day, what we actually really want to do is give women the inspiration to play with their personal style, take those looks back from the catwalk, and actually reinvent them at home every day in the comfort of their homes.
Well, talking about working with some of the top people, we've got a very, very special guest that's joining us on Skype this morning. I'm very happy to announce Tresemme's global hairstylist and celebrity hairstylist to none other than the Kardashians. We're talking about Justine Marjan, all the way from New York Fashion Week. Good morning, Justine. Welcome to Expresso. First of all, tell us what exactly is happening at New York Fashion Week and what have been your favorite shows thus far?
New York Fashion Week has definitely been really fun this year. It's been really crazy. We're always busy running around, but it's been great. And some of my favorite shows have definitely been the Tom Ford show for me to watch. I didn't do the hair for it, but I loved the Tom Ford show. I loved Alexander Wang. Jonathan Simkai was amazing. And then I'm doing hair for Creatures of Comfort, Kushnia Ox, and Allison Olivia.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. It's so exciting. I wish that I could be there as well. Now tell me, what are some of the standout hair trends that you've witnessed at New York Fashion Week?
Some of the trends that I really enjoyed seeing was the return of hair accessories. It was really cool to see. There was the claw clip at Alexander Wang. They had zigzag elastic headbands at Praval last night. And then I loved seeing the chokers that were wrapped around the hair at Jonathan Simkai. I definitely think it's been really fun to see all the cool twists on hair. And even at Allison Olivia, there's like a really ornate headpiece.
Oh, absolutely amazing. I love the world of hair and fashion. Everything is so excited. Justine, what has been one of your favorite hairstyles that you've done for the models?
I think this Fashion Week, my favorite style to do is, we had 2 girls that were Marie Antoinette inspired for the Allison Olivia show. So we gave them like big over the top curls and a big updo, and then we spray painted their hair white. So it was definitely very creative and different. I think we see so much natural hair on the runway, so it was really fun to do something that took a little bit more work.
That is incredible. Justine, what is your favorite Tresemme hair care product that you use to achieve this look?
My favorite Tresemme product to use is the new Tresemme Micro Mist Hairspray. I don't know if it's available in South Africa, but I'm a big fan of the Keratin Smooth collection that you guys have there. We use that to Allison Olivia. We use the Keratin Smooth Heat Protect Spray before blow drying the girls. And then I ran some of the Keratin Smooth serum through the ends. I definitely love that. It just gives shine to the hair, makes it look healthy and natural and beautiful.
And then simply because we do have the professional on the line and we may never get this moment again, what is your secret hair care tip that you could share with us this morning?
The key secret is to use a good shampoo and conditioner. I think that I love the Tresemme Beautiful collection. Just keeps the hair healthy, but it still has a lot of volume, and it's a reverse wash system. So you condition first and then shampoo, so it keeps the hair even more hydrated.
Well, thank you so much, Justine, joining us all the way from New York Fashion Week. And thank you so much, Nicole, for being here as well. It's so exciting to see where Tresemme is going. And of course, the future looks very, very bright for this amazing brand that makes it so easy for us to look fabulous every day.
Thank you so much, Leanne, for having us.
Well, thankfully, Tresemme will be joining us for the next few weeks with amazing hair care information and tips. And of course, Tresemme wants to give women around the world the confidence to put their best look forward. So make sure to visit Tresemme and social media platforms platforms to find out all the latest hair trends and how-to videos with Tresemme.
Well, from amazing hair trends to now, the latest news from the final frontier. All right, so last week, news from the world of space and technology revolved around Falcon Heavy, the launch of the biggest rocket off of the face of the planet Earth. But we kind of missed a very important point, the fact that there was an entire Tesla Roadster strapped to the front of that rocket sent out into the abyss. But like, why, Elon, why? That's the big question we're asking today. And we're joined by our space expert, outreach astronomer at the South African Astronomical Observatory, Dr. Daniel Kahneman. Thanks so much for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here. So people are still talking about this. I mean, look at that beauty with... Firstly, the question is, why would SpaceX actually do this? Why?
And I think the answer is, why not? I mean, so basically, this was a test flight, right? So they wanted to send that rocket to space. They needed a payload. Generally, these test rockets go up with a block of concrete or a big jug of water. Like, it's something meaningless or not very valuable.
I'm sure somebody could have found some meaning and some usage for that Tesla Roadster somewhere here on planet Earth. But okay.
But I mean, Elon Musk has got a flair for the dramatic. He's previously sent up a wheel of cheese, actually, in one of his previous launches. So
those aliens are going to think we're so nice when they meet these random gifts floating around. But so, where do they predict the rocket will go, and what exactly is supposed to happen to it?
Yeah, so Elon's initial tweet or announcement was that he wanted to get it into orbit around Mars. That's very tricky, and I'm not sure that was ever really going to happen. Mm-hmm. The launch window for getting it to Mars is actually coming up in April, May, so we don't know what he's got up his sleeve. Maybe something else. Yeah. So it'll be going out beyond Mars's orbit, into the asteroid belt, and then orbiting around the Sun.
Yeah. But there's also news that the trajectory might have been overshot and that it's actually going off course right now. Is that true?
Well, so again, that's we're not really sure exactly what SpaceX's plan was, but very clever people have been tracking its orbit now. We can see where it's going to go and calculate its orbit for the next few hundred years, and see that it's going to orbit the Sun. It'll pass within about 7 million kilometers of Mars, which is pretty close. Yeah. And I think SpaceX will be pretty happy with that. Yeah. I'm not sure that they ever really wanted to get it onto Mars, per se.
Okay, so but at the end of the day, what is SpaceX actually trying to do with all these missions, with all these pilot programs and rockets being launched into space? What is the ultimate goal for them?
For SpaceX, it's a commercial enterprise. Yeah. So up until now, it's been government agencies, so NASA and the Russian agencies who are sending these things into space. It's the government funded on the taxpayer's account. But Elon Musk has taken it into the public domain, and it's a commercial enterprise. You can hire a Falcon Heavy for $90 million and send 54 tons of whatever you like into space.
Wow. Wow. It must be so nice. Nice life problems. What do you think is going to happen to this beautiful car? On the piece of the rocket that it's hanging off of right now, it's going to be going into eternity.
Yeah, so it's unfortunately not going to be a happy end for it, I don't think. So space is not a pleasant place. When we send things up into space, we have to make sure they're very, very well protected from solar radiation. Yeah. Our atmosphere protects us very well from all the solar radiation, harmful rays. It's out now beyond our atmosphere and subject to some extreme solar radiation. Yeah. It's going to break down all the seats and the leather and all of that, the tires. That'll all come off within the next year, I'd imagine. The metal will last a little bit longer, but then, of course, there's a lot of debris in space. So micrometeorites, these like millimeter small little things which will hit it and pocket up. Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll get sucked into a black hole somewhere and pop up in an alternate universe and be like, oh my word, somebody's going to have a Tesla right in front of them from like 20 years back.
Well, maybe in 100 years somebody will go up there, pick it down and put it in their museum.
Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. That's the latest news from the Final Frontier.
All right, so we're going to take the quickest break. When we're back, it's Black Panther time.
Oh, and then, of course, we're going to spend time in the kitchen and make a turmeric latte. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break.
Happy Thursday. Welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3. As we quickly take a moment to reflect on some international entertainment news. What's happening, Leanne?
Well, it's all about the Phelpses. Their family has grown. Taking to Instagram, Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps shared the first photo of the family's new addition moments after the arrival, revealing his name is Beckett Richard Phelps. Mom Nicole also shared an adorable photo saying that she loves that she's surrounded by boys. The cutest post of them all has to be little Boomers, who says that he can't wait to teach his baby brother about the world.
Look at him, such a big brother.
Wow. Oh, they're so cute, you guys.
They make beautiful babies.
How far apart are they, the kids?
I think Boomer just turned one. Just over one. So it's a few months.
Definitely handling the big bro role
Probably
very
like
well.
15-month gap or so.
So cute. Now, actor Luke Wilson has been involved in a car crash, sadly. According to reports, Luke was driving his car when a Ferrari crashed into him from behind, causing him to crash into another car in front of him. Luckily, Luke escaped unharmed, but sadly, the driver of the car that crashed into him passed on. In the plot twist, the passenger in the car that crashed into Luke was 6-time PGA winner Bill Haas, who has been hospitalized but in a stable condition. And our thoughts are, of course, with all those involved in the affected accident.
Sure, scary things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Listen, hey?
Well, it's wishing them a speedy recovery, hey? And
Absolutely.
for their families as well, like you said, we pray for them.
That was our international entertainment news for you, but time for us to now talk movies.
So, the fastest pre-selling Marvel superhero movie ever is here. I mean, literally, the secret nation of Wakanda is actually here in Africa. Black Panther unlocks a brand new world within the comic universe, returning Chadwick Boseman, of course, as king and protector of his fellow Wakandans. Hopefully I've said that right. JP's gushed about the cast, including, of course, now in a villainous role, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, and, of course, South Africa's own legend, John Carney. His long-heaped hype, I think, is definitely also on young director Ryan Coogler. But let's take a look, just take a minute to learn more about our hero's homeland in Black Panther.
What do you know about Wakanda?
Textiles, shepherds, cool outfits.
All a front.
How much more are you hiding?
The film's about Panther, but the film is equally about Wakanda. We'll see T'Challa's friends, people we have to answer to, you know, when he's sitting on that throne.
Wakanda's walls have been up since its inception. It's the best kept secret in the world because they have something the world wants.
They have this natural resource that kind of thrives off of. They mine it, they use it in technology. It's very sought after by anybody who's ever come in contact with it.
Black Panther has to look out for an entire nation and then also consider that nation's place and how they affect the rest of the world.
To see an African country with kings and queens and warriors, it's so inspiring. It's just an incredible world to occupy.
Step into the spotlight. Wakanda forever!
Do it with me. Oh, come on. The Black Panther is here. JP Sebastian, man.
I think I've just messed up my hair.
No,
I don't care.
No, it looks lovely, man. You were like convulsing through that promo, dude. You love this film, you love this director, you love this cast.
What can go wrong?
Yeah, what is it about this film that works? The timing of it is great. We love the symbolism in it is just too awesome.
As a cultural artifact, as a historical artifact, you know, I mean, geez, I think it was Pete Travers from Rolling Stone who said, you're never going to see something like this from a superhero movie again. This is historic.
We needed it right now, and that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and especially since the king is dead.
He's been dying to say that all morning, man.
Because I'm talking about the Age of Ultron, where King T'Chaka dies. That's John Carney, but he returns for this one. So the story obviously being that...
Does this take us back a little bit then?
So he's got... No, this advances. So now T'Challa, that is Chadwick Boseman's character, has to return to his homeland. And he has to assume the throne. So he's got this difficulty with... what people got to know is that there are plenty of tribes in Wakanda. It's, the tribe that worships Bast, or has a goddess, is just one of them, and that's where he lives. But there are about 6, if I remember correctly. And so there are factions, there's factionalism, there's like, can he take the throne if he couldn't even protect his dad? You know, there's the other worry of, are we introducing Wakanda to the world too quickly? Or should we do it at all? And then obviously their personal stories of Black Panther reconnecting with an old flame. And here's the other great thing, is that you've got these female characters and they are rightly represented as dynamic and human beings. Powerful, tender when they got to be, forward-thinking when they are, stubborn and traditional when they are, because humans are, and so women are across the board just given.
So the script is great. It's basically what you're saying. The script is awesome. The movie has to stand up. Talk me through Ryan Coogler. You love this
Ryan Coogler is destined to be one of the greatest American directors of all time. If you've watched Creed, you know this. Arguably better than, that was such a hard word for me to say for some reason, than
arguably one of the most difficult words to say.
And arguably better. Why, JP? Okay, nevertheless. Better than Raging Bull was the greatest American boxing movie. Creed was the last movie he made, which is probably the best boxing movie I've ever seen. And in this, he brings that same, just hold the camera still when an action sequence is happening. Not too much fragmentation effects. Don't mess up the screen. Let the action play out. He's a very hands-on director. One of the things I told you months ago is,
if people fought with the guys,
weren't getting enough energy, it's like, hey, actually, Byron, come do this. Come grab Graham if he's looking like he's slouching too much and punch him and tell him, let's go fight. That's what the director used to do. He'd go, cut 5 minutes, I need to go fight my own actor.
Dude,
so he kept the energy high and he kept the camera focused on people who are working hard. It's as simple as that. Don't cut too much. Don't make it too messy. You know?
Dude, I mean, we could probably sit here and talk all year about this movie, but you know what I want to know.
I mean, we haven't even gotten up to the significance. 9 out of 10.
Boom! Boom! Yeah! 9 out of 10. Put that.
Did you just dislocate something?
I did, man. It's not quite the shape of water, but hey, man, no, that sounds awesome. Make sure you go and check out an incredible new film.
Woo! 9 out of 10, definitely a must-see, and I'm sure people will be going out there in costume ready for Black Panther. But right now, we're about to challenge your morning coffee game with a golden decaffeinated drink that will make you think differently about how you start your day. What do you think of this?
I think, it's time to say goodbye to the coffee and really introduce something that is full of, it's great, it's immune boosting with antioxidants. We are saying goodbye to the caffeine and we're going to add a little bit of turmeric to get you that morning kickstart.
And check it out, it's very, very easy. So you first start off with, as we did over here, a pot of Clover fresh full cream milk, because it's way better, of course. And then, the ingredient of the ages. Some ginger added in there, you've chopped it up nicely.
Yes.
You're gonna add some turmeric, as we said, because we want that
hero ingredient.
Antioxidant powder. And then, just to sweeten up the deal a bit, you're gonna add some honey. So you have your milk at a good temperature. You've had it on the stove for a while. Right?
Nice and warm. It doesn't
it
shouldn't boil.
Don't boil it, because that'll cause it to, I guess, like burn the ingredients, if you will. And then already, the ginger coming through there. So just like let it stand there for about 5 minutes. We're doing it, of course, a little shorter because it is television. But already you get that nice color from the turmeric, the yellow, and the sweetness of the honey's there and the ginger's there too.
There we go.
Are you ready?
Yes. You want to pour it through there?
Okay, here comes the teamwork part. Boom!
There we go. Get rid of the ginger pieces.
Yeah, so obviously the more flavor you want to be infused in the drink, the longer you'll leave the ginger and the entire concoction in the pot to do its thing. And then serve it up.
Serve it up. We've added a cinnamon stick in there for some flavor. There we go.
It reminds me of banana milkshake.
And it smells amazing. So our keyword for you this morning is clover. SMS that to 33728 and we'll have this link to the recipe sent to your phone. I'm just sprinkling a little bit of cinnamon on top. There we go.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
As easy as that. In fact, it was so quick, you might have missed it. This is how you make it.
Turmeric has a host of health benefits. You can enjoy this golden spice in a novel way with a clover turmeric latte. For this recipe, you'll need 2 cups of clover fresh full cream milk, double-walled serving glasses, cinnamon sticks, a 3-centimeter piece of fresh ginger, and 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder. Pour the clover fresh full cream milk into a pot. Add the turmeric powder. Add sliced ginger. Add the cinnamon sticks. Stir while simmering for 5 minutes. Don't let the mixture boil. Strain the mixture. serve in double-walled, heat-resistant glasses. From aiding digestion to improving your immune function, get the benefits of turmeric while sipping flavoursome golden milk in your turmeric latte. Made with love by Clover.
So SMS the keyword Clover to 33728 and you can make your own golden milk rich in calcium, vitamins A and D. There's protein in the milk as well. And it smells good?
It smells good, tastes amazing.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. They call it the ancient golden milk.
Cheers.
Cheers. There we go. Our keyword for you this morning is Clover.
Oh,
SMS
yes.
that to 33728.
I can do this, yeah.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover. Well, still to come on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, we're going into the wild and talking about the effects of the drought on our coastline.
Can't wait for that. Then I think I've been freaking Brad Roberts out all morning. Every time he walks into the studio, I'm like, it's Brad Roberts from the Crash Test Dummies this year. What a legend. We're going to bring you another unforgettable performance after the break. You might know this one. You might actually know this one, I think.
There was this kid who got into an accident and couldn't come to school, but when he finally came back, had turned from black into bright white. He said that it was from when the cars had smashed so hard. That's better. There was this girl who wouldn't go and change with the girls in the change room, and when
So 9 out of 10 for Black Panther, huh?
Yeah, it's like, now that I've watched more promotional material, I'm just like, this is so goddamn important. This is so special.
Awesome.
And that trumps technical issues. Like, you don't get to make multiple grammatical errors in a beautiful thesis. Like,
oh, beautiful.
Hey, Jeff speak English. I know that.
Damn it, baby.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to it, your Feel Good Breakfast Show with the Crash Test Dummies in studio. They're in South Africa for a reunion tour, and you can watch them live at the Hillcrest Quarry in Cape Town on Sunday. That show starts at 4 p.m. And that Sunday, this coming Sunday, at the Pretoria National Botanical Garden at 1 p.m. They'll be performing some of their most well-known songs that I'm sure thousands of fans will be singing along to, including this one.
Nice.
once there was this kid who got into an accident and couldn't come to school, and when they finally made back, his hair had turned from black into bright white. He said that it was from when the cars had smashed so hard. Once there was this girl who wouldn't go and change with the girls in that change room, and when they finally made her, they saw birthmarks all over her body. She couldn't quite explain it, they'd always just been there. Both girl and boy were glad, 'cause one kid had it worse than that. 'Cause then there was this boy whose parents made him come directly home right after school, and when they went to their church, they shook and lurched all over the church floor. Couldn't quite explain it, they'd always just gone there.
What a way to take us back. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, dude. That was amazing. So I'm going to just take this mic away from you. And fans, what can they expect from these two shows that you're doing in South Africa?
Now, people constantly ask me this,
Yeah.
and it's a little hard to say because, of course, I want them to be surprised. So I don't want to give it all away. But we will be playing plenty of material off our biggest record, which, of course, is God Shovel His Feet. And then there'll be a smattering of songs from the rest of our catalog, shall we say.
Will you be sharing stories from the band's history,
Oh, yes,
the years?
absolutely.
What have been some of your best moments or highlights throughout the time?
Well, coming to South Africa in 1995 was actually a very big highlight.
Yeah.
And
for us too.
Yeah, and that sounds a little pandering. I probably sound like I'm being disingenuous, but truly, that was a big moment for us. And I don't know. I don't want to have. We don't want to have any dead air here.
That's all right. That's right. We're going to take it from there and segue right into the event details, which are on your screen.
Beautiful.
Make sure you get tickets to go and watch Crash Test Dummies in South Africa, and you can hear that and more, and of course relive those beautiful memories of yesteryear. Thanks so much once again for joining us. They'll be on our Facebook page live after 9 o'clock. Right now, it's time for the news.
In the national news this morning, President Jacob Zuma has resigned as the President of the Republic of South Africa. He says that his decision follows his recalling by the African National Congress's National Executive Committee and weeks of speculation about his future as president. Zuma says he takes seriously and is grateful to the ANC that in the face of its revolutionary mission, it ensured a better life for all and curated a non-sexist and non-racial South Africa. The South African Medical Research Council has collaborated with the Beijing Genomics Institute to establish the continent's first genomic sequencing facility. Construction at the African Genomics Center is underway in Cape Town and is expected to be completed in June. The 95 million rand project, which will offer opportunities to explore the African genome, which Rizwana Mia, the head of the South African Medical Research Council's Precision Medicine program, says holds a large amount of diversity. Now moving further abroad, Kuwait's Emir has announced that his nation will lend $1 billion to Iraq and commit a further $1 billion of investment to the country. Donors and investors have gathered in Kuwait this week to discuss efforts to rebuild Iraq's economy and infrastructure as it emerges from a devastating conflict with Islamic State militants who seized almost a third of the country. According to officials, rebuilding Iraq after 3 years of war with Islamic State will cost more than $88 billion. And then finally, according to the Broward County Sheriff's Office, at least 17 people were killed yesterday in a shootout at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Law enforcement responded to reports of gunshots shortly before 3 p.m., which investigators believe was to draw people out of classrooms and increase the number of casualties. The suspect, a 19-year-old former student, Nicholas Cruz, is now in custody for further investigation. Schools have been closed for the rest of the week. Well, that was your 8 o'clock news update. Here's a final look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
And we are buzzing in studio. Not so much when we look at our cricket headlines this morning. Proteas fast bowler Kagiso Rabada has been found guilty of breaching the ICC Players Conduct Code in the 5th ODI against India on Tuesday. Pretty fiery affair. Rabada was fined 15% of his match fee and now received his 4th demerit mark for his aggressive gesture and verbal reaction to the dismissal of Indian batsman Shikhar Dhawan. So Rabada and the Proteas will be back in action on Friday as they take on India in the 6th and final ODI. Of course, a dead rubber with India wrapping up the series already. Then on to football. A host of goals last night again in the UEFA Champions League. Real Madrid got the better of Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League as they secured their first leg 3-1 win at the Santiago Bernabeu. Madrid will head to Paris, definitely the more confident of the two sides, as they came back from a goal down to seal the win, thanks to goals from Ronaldo and Marcelo. In the only other round of 16 clash from last night, Liverpool looking very strong. They breezed past Porto by 5-0. Then, keeping it local but staying with football, Baroka FC knocked Platinum Stars out of the Nedbank Cup last night. That was after a 1-0 win in Rustenburg. The only goal of the game came from Gift Motupa. His penalty in the 70th minute. That was enough to earn his side a spot in the last 16. And other results from last night's action: Stellenbosch beat Highlands Park 1-0. Free State Stars earned a 2-1 win over the Super Eagles. Then on to tennis. Roger Federer secured his first win back on court, of course after his Australian Open triumph, with a straight sets victory over Ruben Belmans at the Rotterdam Open yesterday. The 6-1, 6-2 win saw Federer kickstart his chase to that #1 world ranking. The 36-year-old is now only 2 wins away from reclaiming the top spot for the first time in 6 years. Now the results from yesterday in Rotterdam saw wins for David Goffin, Grigor Dimitrov and Thomas Berdych. And that's a wrap of your sport for this morning.
Thank you, Graham. Well, let's take one final look at the roads, and we start off in Gauteng and Bedfordview. Now, there's been an accident on Van Buren Road and William Nicol, so you can expect delays in that area. And in the Western Cape in Athlone on the N2 inbound traffic, slow moving. That's from the airport and Hospital Bend. That's where we leave your traffic. Let's take one final look at your weather. Starting off in Polokwane, there's a low of 19 with a high of 28. Mbombela 20, 33. Pretoria 17 with a high of 27. Johannesburg 15, reaching a high of 25. Thunder showers expected in Mahikeng 17, 27. Klerksdorp 15, 25. Kimberley 17 with a high of 27. Now thunder showers in Bloemfontein 13 with a high of 25. Richards Bay 21 with a high of 35. Pietermaritzburg 17, 28. Durban 22, 29. Mthatha 18 with a high of 27. We have partly cloudy conditions expected in East London with a low of 17, a high of 25. Cradock 15, 14, 29. Port Elizabeth 16 with a high of 24. Partly cloudy in George 15, 22. Sunny conditions in Sutherland 12 with a high of 26. Then Cape Town today sunny with a low of 17, a high of 25. Worcester 16, 31. Springbok 13, 29. And in Uppington a low of 19 and a high of 34 degrees Celsius can be expected. And that's where we leave your weather on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Well, still to come after the break, we're talking about the effect of the drought on South Africa's coastlines.
Yeah, we'd love to take your calls there as well. If you've got any questions, then I had the pleasure of engaging with UCT's engineering department for one of the coolest discoveries I think we've ever made here, how urine can be turned into usable bricks, into fertilizer, and in the process save millions of litres of water. Wow. It is insane. Stay tuned.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back as we head back into the wild. Now, Southern Africa has undoubtedly one of the most beautiful and abundant coastlines in the world, one of our most precious resources, from warm tropical beaches to jagged stormy shores. Now, George and Margot Branch have dedicated half a century of their lives to studying the sea, and their new book, Living Shores, is a culmination of that experience. For today's Into the Wild segment, we turn the spotlight onto our coastline. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's awe-inspiring when I try to put it in perspective that this has been a life's work, has it not?
Yeah, it sounds terrible when you say it's half a century, but...
I'm sorry, I actually did like, when I read that, I thought maybe we could have phrased that slightly differently, but it is worth spending a lifetime on subject matter just like this. I think few people will choose a married couple to work together to this degree, but you've been fortunate enough to take this journey together. Why do this book? What inspired the two of you to embark on this life's path together?
Well, it's been like a holiday, but we've discovered we've discovered so many exciting and interesting things that we really wanted to share them. You know.
It must be an incredible journey to get to this. How would you describe the book? It's very difficult for me to put it into words. How would you describe the book?
Well, I think it's a combination of two things. First of all, it's our own personal curiosity about how the world works. And secondly, it combines with it the desire to communicate this excitement in the remarkable science that's been done around the coast.
So we look at two very different sections within the book. Obviously, we've got the marine ecosystem, something that thankfully now the world is standing up and taking more notice of, cognizance of how much damage we are doing in that space. And that, of course, then brings in the human interaction. Why was it important to look at it from these two perspectives?
Well, I think that when we wrote the book originally, not a great deal was known about the systems, and that's enormously expanded. But what's really changed is attitudes and approaches to managing the system, because it's been revolutionized over the last 10 to 20 years.
And I'll pose that question to you. You can think about it, if we're doing enough, if we are far off the mark. But what was the moment? Was there a moment where you decided, because the original book, as I understand it, was published first in 1981.
Yes.
Were you missing your holiday and decided it's time to get back out there? What was the drive to do an extension?
Well, there's so much has been discovered since, you know, we did the first book. And we've really just want to expand on that. We felt the first book was quite dated now. And when you think that computers, satellites, and digital photography and underwater photography has come in during that time, people's impression of the coast has changed enormously.
It must be incredible to go back to places that you had seen before to see changes. How much has changed in terms of what you experienced then to what you experienced with this?
Well, I think the big changes have been, first of all, the arrival of a whole bunch of alien species that have transformed the coastline.
Wow.
Secondly, as you can see from the images on screen there now, the whole coastline has been transformed over millennia. In fact, over millions of years, where sea level has risen and fallen, and consequences are enormous. And of course, we are ourselves now experiencing those changes in our modern world.
There's so much that I want to talk to you about this morning, but thank you so much for joining us. We're going to keep the lines open as well. If you've got any questions, we've got a wealth of knowledge here. 021-430-9881. Give us a call if you've got any questions regarding South Africa's incredible coastlines.
Cape Town has become very familiar with the saying, if it's yellow, let it mellow, as severe water restrictions ask residents not to flush after urinating. It's no coincidence that a senior lecturer from the University of Cape Town has found some clever uses for urine by recycling it.
Treasure can be found in the most remarkable and unexpected places. That statement certainly rings true for senior engineering lecturer Dr. Dylan Randall, who is recycling urine, yes, into fertilizer and bio-bricks. So time for me to don the white coat and enter the lab to find out a little bit more. By recycling urine into useful products, Dr. Dylan Randall's unique project could be a solution to save millions of litres of water that are simply flushed away across the country. You've called it your liquid gold, and it's certainly readily available. What makes this such a valuable and viable resource to use in this kind of recycling project?
A lot of the nutrients found in urine, so for example, the phosphorus, the nitrogen, if we allow that to enter the environment, we get eutrophication. So we get the algae blooms that typically form in dams. But if you were to recover those nutrients, you could produce a fertilizer. And we're actually running out of natural phosphorus, for example. So if we recover this phosphorus from our urine, we can produce the fertilizer in a more sustainable way.
So in layman's terms, how does the system actually work? Break it down for us.
So basically, you have your urinal and you have the container at the bottom. In that, we have calcium hydroxide or lime. We need about 10 grams per liter to make the fertilizer. So considering this is a 25-liter container, you would add 250 grams of the calcium hydroxide to this container. And then basically you pee and leave it long enough, all of it will dissolve. But during that process, you're automatically making your calcium phosphate, your fertilizer.
Whilst our urine produces phosphorus, which we know when treated is a key component of fertilizer, by extracting our urine in this way, it's been shown to save up to 3 litres of water per flush. In fact, in some modern toilets, up to 6 litres. So time for me to do my part for the environment, but I'll need a bit of privacy, please. So one of the other applications that we've heard about is the bio-brick, something that I know very much is in its infancy. Talk me through that part of the process and those implications.
Basically, once we've removed the fertilizer from the urine, we have that liquid component left over. And we use that to essentially make biosolids or bio-bricks. And the way that process works is you take normal sand, or actually any loose solid, and you add it to this reactor. And you also have to add bacteria. So the bacteria then colonize the sand. And when you feed them the urine solution, they start solidifying or cementing the sand particles together. So the next step would basically be to make our bio-brick using that process.
So this is almost like using science to help nature heal itself. This is unbelievable to me. It really is amazing. When you look at the kind of response that you've had, the way that the media has grabbed hold of this, the awards that are coming in, this has got to be encouraging to you.
I think it's a great acknowledgement from the general public showing interest in something that we're doing here at UCT. And I'm also really grateful for the open-mindedness of people and the acceptance of such novel technologies. So for example, who would have thought, recovering fertilizer from urine or making bio-bricks or biosolids using that same urine? So that kind of interest gives me a lot of hope for the future in terms of achieving a sustainable future and environment.
With the projects already winning awards and the bio-bricks heading into the next phase of development, the future of this unique technology is looking golden. Excuse the pun. This is next level innovation. I mean, using water waste, or effectively what we now know as liquid gold, to create products that could uplift the community, maybe even save our planet, and all the while saving liters of water in the process. Amazing. Doctor, thank you so much. Well done to the UCT engineering students. Mind-blowing stuff, and it's happening here in South Africa. Now, speaking about our beautiful country, it doesn't get more gorgeous than our coastlines, of course, and becomes a wonderful opportunity, a litmus test to see how the environment is doing during crazy times like the drought as it is at the moment, climate change, and of course, human interaction. And we've got George and Margot Branch, who have created the most beautiful book, again, Living Shores. They did it first in 1981. They've now re-released with a brand new take on where the environment, where the coastline is, where the human headspace is. I think most Cape Townians at the moment, and now that we know that the whole of South Africa has been declared to be in drought, so we're not alone, Carpies, we're not alone. We have to ask, is the drought having an effect on our coastlines from what you were able to see in your exploration?
I think the drought isn't affecting the coastline a lot, it's affecting us as human beings enormously. But I think the drought is just symptomatic of very much bigger things that are going on in the environment. The one is longer-term changes in climate, and the other is longer-term changes in the human population and densities. And when you combine the two, you get the situation that we have in Cape Town at the moment.
Yeah, that is spreading, and it's not going to change. And we again say, just please keep saving water. I know we had 3 drops of rain, keep saving water. When you talk about large-scale climate change, how have you seen that exhibited in the coastlines?
Well, the sea temperature has changed quite a bit in our coastline. I think George will expand on that.
Yes, I think the sea temperature change and the change in acidity in the water are the two things that have affected things more than the drought as such. But with sea temperature change, some areas are warming up and some areas are actually cooling down, because as the land heats, the wind increases, blows more surface waters away, and so you get more deep upwelling water that's cold coming up to the surface. So actually in the south here, our waters are actually cooling, and the lobsters and the kelp and things are busy migrating to keep up with that. They're shifting southeast around the coast as a consequence.
Wow. If I had to say the word desalination, it's a bit of a dirty word here in Cape Town. Do you think, will this have an effect on the environment?
Well, I think desalination is an easy solution in a lot of ways, because there is a lot of ocean. But the secret is when that salty, extra salty water that is left over after you've cleaned it, it needs to be returned to the sea in a place where there's enough motion and where it can be spread quickly, so that it doesn't settle in a very salty area and affect the animals there.
Oh man, we're gonna be creating whole new pockets of oceans within the ocean there. And I think this is what really brings to bear where we are at the moment, is the knock-on effect of all of these things and our effect. We're going to chat a bit more about the human element and where the mindset is, where scientists' mindsets are. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you've got any questions or comments on our beautiful coastline, maybe you want to share some pics, 021 430 9881 is the number to dial, or you can share with us, of course, on our social media platforms.
Thanks so much, Graham. Yes, and do engage with us. Give us a call and engage with us on the topic of how global warming is affecting our South African coastline. Also, when we come back, we take a look at the International Public Art Festival that is taking place in Salt River right here in the Mother City until Monday, the 19th of February. We'll give you the latest. Stay tuned.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are just in time to head back into the wild. But my mind is racing at the moment because I've got so many questions. I'm loving having George and Margot Branch, the co-authors of Living Shores, a beautiful book that they first released in 1981 that they have now re-released, looking at the human interaction and the ecosystems on our beautiful coastlines. And there are so many kind of side branches that spring out of this. So many interesting new topics of discussion born out of this incredible feature. So well done, first of all, on creating something truly beautiful. I think the most important part from our perspective as conservationists, we should all be thinking about protecting this ecosystem. Thankfully, more people are thinking about the oceans now. Let's talk about fishing. We've got this beautiful photo that it's a time capsule. It really does. We should all be wearing sun hats, first of all, in today's age. But overfishing, are we fishing our oceans dry? From your explorations, how do you feel about that?
Well, the answer depends very much on which fish you're going to talk about. Up on the screen here, you will see an image taken in 1905.
Wow.
And this image comes from the Humanus Museum, and it shows one day's catch. We counted there were 172 different fish here, and the heaviest was a 50-kilogram fish there. And that's just a reminder how things have changed for lionfish. Lionfish specifically have been badly depleted, down to maybe 5% of roundabout where they were. But when you come to things like sardines, as you're seeing here, the story is quite different. There they're quite well managed, and they're recognized as being a catch that's properly managed. So, and if it came to hake, the same story is true. Hake is the only marine stewardship certified fishery in the country. And that says internationally you can recognize this as a well-managed thing. And it's worth mega bucks to the industry because the price rockets as soon as it's a certified fishery.
Because I mean, we keep treating them like non-renewable resources, but it's renewable if we manage them. When we look at things like palamon, crayfish, mussels, delicacies all over the world, but we often hear about poaching. Are these in danger? Will we get to a point, do you think, Margot, that we won't see these delicacies in our oceans anymore? Now that we know the crayfish are migrating as well.
Well, I think the perlamon definitely, because they don't move much and they're in an intertidal area.
Soft targets,
they're soft targets, and they're very slow growing as well. You know, normally they're 8 to 10 years the size that they harvested, so it's a slow growing
what is the answer there? Do we need to be farming? Do we need to be reintroducing? Do we need to be increasing
well, I think
police budgets?
we need twin efforts here. The farming unquestionably is important and enormously important economically. We are now farming much more than we can harvest from the sea. And some of those images you showed a few minutes ago showed juvenile abalone that have been cultured and grown to a size when they can be sold commercially. And there you can see some of the juveniles. They look absolutely exquisite.
Yeah.
See how they change colour as you feed them different things. You start on bacteria, that's the red shell, and then you change to kelp, that's the white shell. The blue shell.
Oh, that is amazing, guys. Thank you so much. I know we're always drifting into a really negative space, but we have to reinforce that. But we're going to go into a positive space. We're going to paint a positive picture because I know that this is something that you love, and there's a reason why you love our coastline. So we're going to inspire you to get out there and explore our coastlines. Again, if you'd like to weigh in on the conversation, please give us a call 021 430 9881.
Thanks very much, Graham. Now, public festivals can be a creative vessel that can enhance artists and make communities stand strong together. And this is beautifully exemplified at the International Public Arts Festival in the Mother City, where an inspiring lineup of local and international artists are transforming public spaces into a flurry of colour and social consciousness.
Live art is an exciting way to beautify a neighbourhood, and that's the spirit behind the International Public Art Festival, presented by Baz Art, currently taking place in Salt River in Cape Town.
Baz Art is a platform for street artists, a platform for artists in general. In the community itself, we realized that painting beautiful murals with a meaning, something colourful and lightful, actually makes the community more cohesive. People gather together, talk about it, join together, and it makes them stronger. So in terms of social positivism that we see in the community, we see the guys that were doing the little bad things. First of all, they help us. They are more recognized by the community now because they have a job. They're actually working for the community and with the community. We see the bad things going away and the good things taking over.
In the midst of the water crisis that is affecting parts of South Africa, the festival theme of Nature Doesn't Need Us, We Need Nature brings across a strong message.
It links to climate change, it links to the drought in Cape Town, which is affecting us at the moment. But because also we have half of the artists are international, each of the artists came with its own meaning of the nature and what revolves around nature. So you can see green and lush and ocean, but you can also see some recycling, like plastic recycling materials. You can also see people that want to reuse material. So it's about reusing, be careful of what you do, and showcasing the good things about nature and the beautiful things that we see every day. I make beer, and I believe in the creativity behind it, how you craft a recipe, and I've been working with a lot of designers, a lot of artists, and it was how to make their art public. And my co-founder and colleague, he knows a lot of street artists around Cape Town, and he was like, how to create that platform for street artists so that they can start making a living out of their art. And we created that platform and that first festival with fine and street artists. The artworks have impact on the community because people are going to start talking about it. And as soon as the community speaks about nature, when they see the green, the lush, the forest, they're going to reflect on we need nature. We're speaking about public art. We're speaking about art that is accessible to everyone. Each one of us can just go in the street and contemplate that art and speak about it and spread the message.
The festival also provides a platform for South African artists to expand their work to commission pieces for murals and billboards locally and internationally.
It's important to expose street arts talent in this festival purely to first raise the awareness in the public and also to teach the people what art is and what it's about, and also to show that it can play a very important role when it comes to communicating to issues like right now the current drought that we're facing. I think art can bring about social contemplation by bringing about subjects that wouldn't normally be easy to stop a stranger along the way to start a conversation, but this allows you to put it out there, and then the person is forced to actually engage with it, you know, and then later you can live in like a call to action where they can actually find you and they can carry on the conversation, whether it's online and all social media platforms.
One of the festival's aims is to truly engage with people, so the artists welcomed interaction from the community and art fans could participate through tours and workshops.
One of the purposes of painting in the streets, I think, is also getting along with or knowing more about what people are living in different communities and trying to incorporate their problems or the things they like or their culture. The lack of water is basically what inspired me to do this mural. It's basically to bring good luck with water, which I think is something very important. Tlaloc is from the Aztecs. It's the god of rain. One of the things that I most enjoy from this festival is actually the collaboration with kids. I have like 2 kids that came yesterday just to see what I was doing. So I try to inspire them and tell them art somehow is freedom. My advice is just to be brave. I think if you're brave, you're ready.
The mission is simple: education, social inclusion, and artistic innovation. This public art festival is definitely succeeding and leaving a beautiful legacy on the walls of the city.
Art Festival runs until Monday, the 19th of February, so you still have time to witness the vibrant transformation of the Salt River neighborhood. Festival attendance is free, and tickets to the guided street tours of all of the artworks, as well as spray painting workshops, will cost you $350 a piece. So go and check it out.
Now that I'm getting perspective on what it's taken to create Living Shores, the second edition after the first was introduced in the 80s, courtesy of George and Margot Branch, the co-authors, and I think custodians now, I'm going to say, of our coastlines. This is amazing to me how much you've learnt and how much has changed going back to our coastlines now. I think, and maybe I'm going to ask you to open that in the book, that there is something now that we have gained through this process, and I love that, spreading sea wisdom. And I'm glad we're becoming wise through this, but what is the wisdom of the sea? What is sea wisdom?
Well, I think what excites me is the number of people who are now being taken to the shore and are learning actively in situ, looking at real life. That illustration we showed there was Dalebrook Marine Protected Area. And we've calculated that about 25,000 students have been through the experience of going to that shore and learning about it in that marine protected area.
Why is this so important, Margaret? Why do we need to get children there? Why do we need to actually engage with our coastlines?
Well, I think one of the big things in this country is that in about at the turn of the century, the environment was brought into the center of the school syllabus. Before that, it was a sort of science society thing.
Yeah.
Now it's the heart of the syllabus, so that the teachers and the students are much more involved in the environment in all areas.
And we need that. How can you expect a generation to protect something that they've never actually engaged with? And we've got the most amazing diversity within South Africa as well. I think that is awe-inspiring in itself. Maybe we can round off with lessons learnt. And I would imagine there have been so many personal lessons through this journey, but can you highlight one major lesson? What can the ocean teach us? What can we learn from our coastlines?
Well, I think it's quite exciting in a sense when you look at what animals do in their interactions. We tend to think of the tooth and claw aspect, but they are the most extraordinary interactions that take place between different organisms. One of them is a little shrimp that acts as a cleaner on fish. You're actually seeing a wonderful illustration of it here. This photograph was taken by Peter Tim up at Sardana Bay. And you can see a little shrimp moving over a moray eel here, and it'll clean its flesh, remove the bacteria, remove parasites and things like that. And to me, it's the most exquisite example of cooperation in nature. If these cleaner shrimps and cleaner fish didn't exist, coral reefs would collapse. So I think there's a profound lesson to be learned in our own personal relationships and how we interact with the sea, drawn from nature.
I absolutely love that. The smallest acts can have very far-reaching consequences and also a very positive effect, just like this book. Thank you so much for inspiring a new generation with what you guys have put together here. It really is awe-inspiring.
Thanks for having us.
Loved having you here. George and Margot Branch, co-authors of Living Shores. Go and get a copy now.
Well, we are taking a quick break on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. When we get back, we're going to spend some time in the kitchen whipping up a vanilla and blueberry panna cotta. You do not want to miss out on that.
Absolutely. And then we also check out local designers who have showcased their menswear collection. And must I tell you, it is absolutely hot.
Get a taste of the smooth island life and win big with Tropica Island of Treasure Maldives. Buy a Tropica, follow the entry details on the pack, and you could win daily airtime prizes, American Tourista luggage for your next adventure, vouchers from loot.co.za to shop the hot daily deals online, and the grand prize of a Kia Picanto. For competition T's and C's, visit tropica.co.za. And don't forget to watch Tropica Island of Treasure Maldives every Monday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC3.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, the 6th edition of the Cape Town Art Fair begins tomorrow at the CTICC. And over this weekend, art lovers can enjoy a selection of curated sections that are the brainchild of a growing number of local and international galleries who support the artistic practices of emerging and established artists from around the world. So joining us on Expresso this morning to discuss the curation and, of course, the inaugural section called Solo are Tumelo Mosaka, a curator of of the Cape Town Art Fair, and Nontobeko Ntombela, the guest curator on the solo exhibition. Good morning. How are you?
Thank you.
So good to have you here. When I drive into work every single morning, I see this massive sign that says this incredible event is going to be taking place. But Tumelo, shall I begin with you first and foremost? How important is it to showcase Pan-African and international talent in the same place in a very local setting?
I think, you know, South Africa since '94 pretty much became a staging place for dialogue, for exchange, for trade. I mean, I think in terms of culture, we've seen a huge leap in terms of creative production. And I think it's important that we have to see ourselves in conversation with our neighbors, as well as with, you know, the other countries abroad. And so I think the notion of Pan-African is really important for us to really re-establish our connection with the continent, as well as to understand how we can compete and be in conversation with other places globally. So the Cape Town Art Fair as a platform has really facilitated that conversation. I think in the absence of a lot of international art presentation in South Africa, the fair seems to have carved out a space in which it brings international artists, as well as educators, as well as, you know, just enthusiasts, people who are interested in knowing not only what's happening in South Africa, but what is happening on the continent as a whole.
That's incredible. Nontobeko, why has the solo section been added to the art fair, and what is the theme behind the artworks that are going to be there?
Well, I mean, it's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of interest in giving platforms to women artists. And so this platform is really an important and a really critical turning point. The theme that for me was quite critical is to understand what are women artists producing. And so the focus was to understand how are artists self-representing. And that's really what I focused on. How do we draw into what women artists are producing themselves? What are they calling us to understand about their practice and their everyday?
Yeah. Why at this time in history is it so important to give women this platform?
Well, the first question is why not? But also we understand there's a critical position that has demanded the voice of women to be given a platform. We have historical moments where women have been overlooked. And so it's become really, really important to give that platform and to understand what women are contributing to the art world.
Yeah. And then finally to you, Tumelo, I know that the Cape Town art scene has got an extra boost by the opening of the Zeitsmarker, but how will this art fair give art globally a boost?
You know, I think it's true that the Zeitsmarker has sort of, you know, added to the sort of growing artistic production in the country. But I think, you know, as the fair has existed now, it's in its 6th edition, I think we've always tried to champion international presentation, because I think we've always felt that it's important to be connected to the rest of the world. And I think Zeitsmarker has just added more value to what we've been doing all along. So I think it's you know, the country is really beginning to, you know, make huge strides in terms of presenting, in terms of engaging, and in terms of just, you know, sharing what people here and elsewhere are doing.
Well, this is certainly very exciting, and I can't wait for it. But thank you so much for coming here and, of course, enlightening us as to what we can expect come the 16th to the 18th. Well, make sure not to miss the Cape Town Art Fair, which is on from the 16th to the 18th of February at the CTICC. And you can head on over to capetownartfair.co.za for more information.
All right, it's time to switch things up and bring you some contemporary fashion. Yesterday, we chronicled the first day of South African Menswear Week here in Cape Town. And today, we've got you covered again with one of Africa's most inspired fashion events. Let's go.
Showcasing the hottest names from across South Africa and the African continent, South African Menswear Week has the most forward-thinking designs and trends every gentleman needs to make a grand entrance.
And that is how not to make an entrance in South Africa. Well, regardless, we are here, day 2, South African Menswear Week. Guys, this is the biggest and best day in fashion. I'm talking the best local talent around from South Africa and afar. It's Expresso, it's behind the scenes. Things about to get real sassy up in here. Follow me.
To make this fashion event unforgettable, the shows are held in unique venues and the entrance is exclusive, making Menswear Week a hot ticket for the true fashion aficionados.
Guys, we are here on the red carpet. And by red carpet, I mean a marble staircase. Does it get any better than this? Guys, how are you? From Expresso. What are you wearing? Is this Oscar de la Renta? Tell me it's Oscar de la Renta.
I'm wearing African print.
Chanel.
No, I actually like thrift for my outfit.
This is budget high fashion. Tell me about this outfit.
This outfit I put together, I actually had to stitch this on like before coming here. It's just a scarf. And this I bought from a vintage store in Cape Town somewhere.
Zoe, you hear that? DIY. We're also DIYing fashion at Fashion Week. Guys, I am here with two of my really good friends. Can I say that?
Yes, you are a good friend.
So we saw a lot of IKEA bags, if I can call them that. I love a discount, so I'm into that. Tell me, what was the inspiration behind that?
So that was kind of the idea of just taking something that costs us really nothing and just making it beautiful.
Upcycling, not recycling. It's like upcycling.
A lot of luxe elements. I mean, you guys really play with this each season. It's all about sort of extravagance and opulence. Tell me about that.
In terms of that, we take, the fabrics are more like elegant, We like to play with texture, so, the velvets that make it look a little bit more expensive, but it's still simple, classic styles.
Expresso, we are here with the man of the moment, Kid Hunter, all the way from Zimbabwe, man.
Thank you for having me.
So nice to have Zimbabwe represented here in South Africa. What's so unique about fashion coming out of Zimbabwe that separates it from the rest of the world?
We have so many influences. We've got you guys, which we do actually look up to. And we sort of in the middle of finding ourselves. So, I mean, with you as an inspiration and obviously the European as well, countries, we hope that we're going to have a very strong fashion sense as well.
Choo, 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 like the train from Chula. You were incredible, man. Like one of my favorite shows. Talk to me a bit about the collection.
The whole collection is about being dandy, being preppy. It's quite boho dandy is what I call it.
Choo, one of the standout elements had to be the models in masks. Were they hiding something behind that mask, or were they still pretty attractive male models?
No, they're very attractive. The reason why I did that is just, sometimes I need to push a boundary. And sometimes, when you're seeing print, it doesn't mean what you see is what you get. For me, I want to adding like mystery to what I'm doing. And also I believe showing is about entertaining the audience. I need to add flavor to SA Menswear Week.
Fast becoming a fixture at Menswear Week and always a big draw card is local label Soul, who focus on giving classic pieces a modern twist with high-quality construction.
I've just seen the amazing Soul show, and I think they've come such a long way in terms of from a fashion perspective. I think they started out being the cool, edgy streetwear brand, but tonight we saw some beautiful cardigans and some beautiful craftsmanship.
We saw the gentleman in Good, the smoking gentleman, if I can call him, dude, on that cigar pipe.
Well, his name is actually Will Hobson, a great actor and comedian. Fashion really needs to be fun, doesn't it? So what a brilliant way to incorporate real people and some humor into the mix.
So Will, you pretty much shut it down at Good. Tell me about how did this come about, this collaboration?
I'm basically pursuing a career as a professional model. So I spoke to a friend of mine, Daniel, who's the designer from Good, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago. So now he's finally broken. I've been calling him a lot, like in the middle of the night, and just asking him, please just put me on that runway, baby. And I think eventually he said, okay, cool, you can wear this robe.
Well, you're the next Heidi Klum, right?
Thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say.
Returning to the South African runway is Tokyo James, the British-Nigerian designer impressed with his collection called I Don't Like You, a sartorial expression of self-confidence.
Let's grill some unsuspecting people. Who is this gentleman? Sir, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
We're from Expresso. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm super great.
You look incredible.
Thank you so much. You didn't ask me, but I'll tell you. It's excellent creations.
You gotta do a spin for us. Give us a twirl.
I don't even have anything to show.
Is this backless? He is showing that back. Get that back out. Who are you most excited to see tonight?
Soul, good, Tuba, Tokyo James right now, so yeah, definitely.
Your favorite designers right now. Give us one designer for Expresso. Who should everyone be on the lookout for in 2018?
Rosie and Vittori.
Those are my friends, so I'm into it.
Dance party aside, Menswear Week is a valuable platform for brands to grow their businesses while contributing to South Africa's unique fashion perspective.
And that is a wrap, Expresso. We have seen it all at South African Menswear Week for the autumn-winter 18 season. We've seen the coolest designers, the coolest kids attending. I've learned a thing or two. I hope you have too. But guys, it's now time for me to get my much-needed beauty, sleep, rest, pampering. Let's go.
Well, thanks so much to our fashion editor, Nick Strelitz. And of course, with the interest in menswear and men's fashion gaining momentum, you can be sure that we'll always have you covered with the latest. And in fact, it's time right now for you to head out there and cop those latest trends that are heating up South African catwalks. If you'd like more front row fashion, head on over to our Expresso Facebook page where we have you covered with all things SA Menswear Week.
Now time to step back into the kitchen for something fresh and delicious. Panna cotta, I think one of those classic desserts. But Gracie, of course, is here with us to add a bit of a seasonal twist to it. We're going to throw in some gorgeous fresh berries there to make it something perfect for summer. And this is something I would imagine you pre-make, keep it in the fridge, and just enjoy the deliciousness and the freshness. Gracie, welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm looking at the end product there and it just looks absolutely beautiful.
Wobbles.
I know.
Isn't that just amazing?
Just too sweet. This is something that there's quite a lot of flair there. I think people, they will want to do this, but feel a bit nervous about making their own panna cotta. Is it easy to mess it up? Is it something that you can really do quite easily on your own?
I think it's dead easy. I think that chefies like to make it sound so fancy.
Yeah, because it's zhuzh, yeah.
But the best thing about it is you make it ahead of time. So you can make it 3 days in advance. And then, if you mess it up the first time, then there's
it's just all part of the learning process.
You're not like really going for a deadline. And you just keep it in the fridge in its little containers like that, and then you just turn them out just before you want them.
Oh, I love it. Well, you've said it's easy, so prove it to us now. Let's whip up some panna cotta.
Okie doke. So I've got my clover milk here, and I'm going to start off with 250. Oh, this is very hot, so I'm going to use this one. So 250 mils of cream. And then I just use, the smoke just makes me...
just for some ambience, yeah?
So let's move this off here because that's really hot. And 250 mils of clover milk.
Cool, we've gone with our clover fresh.
And this is probably the hardest part, okay?
All right.
So you heat that up until it's simmering. So you don't want it to boil. And then you're going to add your sugar to that.
Cool, we've gone
Sweeten
for
it up a little
caster
bit.
sugar, obviously, to dissolve nice and easily.
And some vanilla extract. You want those little seeds in there.
That's quite syrupy. Could you use like a vanilla essence, or is there a reason why you've gone with that?
So the extract is just real vanilla beans. So you want that, and those little speckles of the beans in your panna cotta just give it that authentic look. So that's what you want.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is I've just put some gelatin in with some warm water and got it so that it looks all like it's syrupy.
So that it's nice
and then you mix that in,
cool.
and that is it. Hey?
Wow.
That's it.
So
that's the first part. So we're going to make it in 2 layers. So you make you make this, and you leave it like this, and you put it in to your little guys like that, halfway up. So you share it out between your little ramekins like that.
Cool.
You let it set up for an hour. And you make this again, but you add a little bit of this blueberry coulis to this. So put this in.
Oh, lovely.
And can you see how that looks so nice and purple?
I know, the colour pops immediately.
I mean, after Valentine's Day, don't you just want to eat this, hey?
Oh, it's lovely. And it's quite light as well. It's a sweet dessert, but it's not too heavy, which is great.
It's stunning, and especially because the blueberries have that tartness to it, so it really balances out your sweetness, so it's all fantastic.
So I love that. Oh, can you just tip the pot so we can
look
inside it,
look
just so
at
we
that.
can
Isn't
see
that the
beautiful
most
beautiful
colour?
I like the fact that we've got the natural ingredients shining through here as well. And then how do we dress up our final product,
So the final product, you have to be a little bit careful for this. I've got some hot water in here. We can, once it's cool, we can water our plants with it because we are going to be water savvy. 100%. Okay, so this is going to be very, very quick. Okay. So I'm going to put it in the hot water, and you just want to melt just that outside because gelatin, remember, it melts again. Bond, So you just want to get it so that it's up. There we go. So you can test it if it just moves like that.
You can see it shifting. Oh, very clever.
So, okay,
and
plate on top, and then you do the flip. You say a prayer.
Okay, done.
And
ta-da!
There it is.
Yeah, can we get a round of applause for that, actually? That's food theatre right there.
Okay, some extra coulis and a little bit of extra blueberries, and there you go. Don't you think that's just a great, dramatic, beautiful dessert?
It's beautiful, it's fresh, it's lovely, and the keyword is sweet to 33728 if you'd like to create these beautiful blueberry panna cotta deliciousnesses yourself. Gracie, that looks absolutely amazing. Hopefully that's demystified one of the coolest desserts out there.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA, made with love by Clover.
Now, before we take a quick break, don't forget you can join the Afternoon Express team this Thursday afternoon for a decadent chocolatey treat. And although store-bought chocolate puddings are quite decent, one cannot resist the taste of quality and a homemade pudding. So Clem shows us just how quick and easy it is to whip up this tasty and absolutely magical chocolate pudding made with fresh milk, loads of love and mounds of chocolate. That's happening on Afternoon Express this afternoon, but don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break.
It feels good to celebrate the incredible talent and standard of excellence honoured at the 2018 South African Film and Television Awards. The SABC is home to a wealth of television presenting and hosting talent, and we are so proud to see these individuals get well-deserved recognition for their work. Congratulations to SABC talent Pabi Moloi and Masechaba Ndlovu for their nominations as Best Talk Show Host. And for nominations in the Best TV Presenter Award, SABC hosts Lerato Khanyago, Ntokozo Mbuli, Tumelo Mototwani and Tumi Morake are in the running. Remember, you can vote for your favorite TV presenter by SMSing the letter of your favorite to 48430. SMSs cost R1.50 and free SMSs do not apply. Don't miss the 12th annual SAFTA's live broadcast on SABC2 on the 24th of March and see the stars of local film and television shine.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Alrighty then, welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3. Hope you've enjoyed spending this Thursday morning with us after what I hope was a wonderful Valentine's Day. Did your Valentine's Day turn out the way?
It actually did. It really turned out to be quite decent. I spent it with two lovely friends. Okay. So, yeah, that was great.
And yours? Mine was super amazing.
Excellent. I'm glad. Hey, listen, but before we go, we do need to quickly give you an update. Headline news right now, breaking of what happened last night, that Zimbabwean opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai has died, passing away last night in South Africa due to colon cancer. He's been suffering along with that. And so to his family, his countrymen, and our brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe, we wish you all of the best and sending our condolences right now.
Yeah, interesting time to be alive in Southern Africa.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's time for us to go. Listen, South Africa, have a wonderful Thursday. New beginnings, baby.
We love you. We love you.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.